Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have new information on the Appleton police investigation into St. Francis Xavier principal Mike Mothie.
Well, he was fired back in November after a complaint was lodged with the Diocese of Green Bay. He was having inappropriate conversations with students. Jason Zimmerman has been following this story since the very beginning. He's live in the Fox Valley newsroom with the first alert update. Jason.
Bill, the investigation was officially closed several weeks ago, but today we obtained this investigation report from Appleton Police through an open records request. It not only explains why Mothie was likely terminated, but also why no charges were ever filed as a result of the evidence found. According to the police investigation, the Catholic Diocese of Green Bay was unaware of Mike Mothie's alleged behavior until he announced his resignation from Xavier and accepted a job at St. Mary Catholic High School. Documents now show that led to someone coming forward with a complaint saying, quote, they finally got rid of him at Xavier for what he's been doing and you're going to hire him here, end quote, with the person claiming Mothie had been texting and emailing a Xavier student. The female, who's no longer a student, was interviewed by investigators in December, saying her relationship with Mothie was unhealthy for me and manipulative and hurt the way I see things. I don't think it was good. The girl's mother told the superintendent of the Green Bay Catholic Diocese, Becky Walker, that she told Mothie to stop texting her daughter, and Mothie said he would. However, she found out later that two of them were trying to figure out how they were going to communicate once she graduated. Appleton police started an investigation last November after Walker was concerned the principal's conduct may be criminal. The city's police chief releasing a statement saying, quote, a detailed investigation was completed and it was determined there was not probable cause to believe a crime had been committed by Mothie and the investigation was closed, end quote. The former student denies there was ever any sexual activity, but told investigators Mothie had a similar relationship with a friend of hers. Efforts to reach Mothie have been unsuccessful, and the Diocese of Green Bay today declined to comment. Reporting live in the Fox Valley Newsroom, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.